Let's just preheat. The first televised public hearings of the impeachment of President Trump start today. Reporters Marissa Hernandez and Bailey Walker have the latest. In sports, 2 of Georgia's players have been named semi-finalists for football awards. And later, find out which 2 celebrity guests will be making their way to the Classic City.
If you know what the slogan Vote for Pedro is, this next one you're probably going to want to check out.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Peyton Lewis.
And I'm Bailey Walker.
And I'm Marissa Hernandez, and I'm here with Bailey to give you some updates on the impeachment hearings.
Ms. Taylor, Mr. Kent, have you had any contact with the President of the United States?
I have not.
So not only no conversations with the President of the United States about Ukraine, you've not had any contact with the President of the United States, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So you both know that this impeachment inquiry is about the President of the United States, don't you?
The public hearings for the impeachment inquiry ended about an hour ago, so we're here with a recap for you.
Yeah, the current inquiry has been ongoing for some time, but today hearings were televised for the public. The investigation is looking into the question of whether or not President Donald Trump pressured Ukraine to investigate his political opponents. Bailey, talk to us about what's happening so far.
Right, so today diplomats William Taylor and George Kent testified together on Capitol Hill. Members of the House Intelligence Committee from both parties questioned the witnesses, and each of the 22 members got 5 minutes. They were allowed to yield their times to other members, so some Republicans gave their time back to Representative John Radcliffe, with Democrats giving their time back to Committee Chairman Adam Schiff.
And Steve Castor, the GOP lawyer, has been handling the Republican side of questioning. One of the main arguments for Republicans was that the witnesses haven't actually been directly in contact with President Trump.
Ambassador Taylor, in your decades of military service and diplomatic service representing the United States around the world, have you ever seen another example of foreign aid conditioned on the personal or political interests of the President of the United States?
No, Mr. Goldman, I've not.
And on the other side, Democrats are arguing that the president used his position for political gain.
Well, all this is...
Ambassador Taylor, in your decades of military service and diplomatic service representing the United States around the world, have you ever seen another example of foreign aid conditioned on the personal or political interests of the President of the United States?
No, Mr. Goldman, I've not.
While all this is going on at the Capitol, President Donald Trump is down the street at the White House hosting Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Impeachment can be a very difficult process to understand, so Marissa, will you walk us through the stages?
So in the most basic terms, an impeachment is an investigation into a public official for high crimes or misdemeanors. An impeachment has to be voted on in the House, and if the articles are approved, then the impeachment process moves to the Senate. In the Senate, a trial takes place where it is determined whether or not to convict and remove the president from office.
So how do Georgians feel about impeachment?
Well, so in a poll done by the University of Georgia School of Public and International Affairs, it was shown that about 54% of Georgia voters approve of the inquiry, but about only 47% support the impeachment and removal of the president from office. So what else is happening on a local level, Bailey? I know you went to an event for the Democratic Georgia Senate hopefuls. What did you learn while you were there?
Yeah, Marissa, John Ossoff, Sarah Riggs-Amico, and Ted Terry were all in Athens talking about their platforms and plans for Georgia. Some of the major themes of the night were healthcare and economic security across Georgia. When I spoke to Sarah Riggs-Amico, I asked her about Athens-Clarke County specifically, where poverty levels are 20 percentage points higher than the U.S. average.
Athens-Clarke County is addressing food security in particular. Look, if kids are going to school and they're hungry, they can't focus. If they're going to school and they can't read the chalkboard or their lessons, they can't reach their potential. Addressing poverty, eradicating poverty is possible in our lifetime.
The candidates also went after incumbent David Perdue. Let's take a listen to what John Ossoff had to say.
David Perdue is the caricature of Washington corruption.
Now, another major topic in Northeast Georgia are rural issues. What are they planning for the rural population?
I actually asked John Ossoff that exact question. Here's what he had to say about rural Georgians.
Okay, but I know there are a couple other Democrats still on the ballot, so we'll have to wait until the primary to see who will take on David Perdue directly. And that's the latest we have on politics today. Again, I'm Marissa Hernandez.
And I'm Bailey. Back to you, Peyton.
UGA student Tate Frisano is turning tragedy into triumph. Grady Newsource reporter Isaiah Joseph joins us live with more information. Hi there, Isaiah.
So I'm standing here at a South Campus bus stop where Tate Frisano was shot back in April. Now, since then, he has been recovering, and he is now ready to open up to the public about the effect that the impact that the assault has had on his life. So the 22-year-old lacrosse player will be introducing a scholarship fund at Piedmont Athens Regional Hospital next week. Now, the foundation dubbed Tate Tough will serve as a scholarship fund dedicated to student athletes as well as gun violence prevention on campus. Back to you, Peyton.
Thanks, Isaiah. The official foundation announcement will be held at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, November 20th at Piedmont's Medical Services Building in Athens. Up next, we'll talk about celebrities who will be coming to Athens, and later, meet James Preston, a local filmmaker whose films show how local businesses help the community.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in, help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
For those of you who are movie watchers, your favorite characters may be making their way to Athens. Grady Newsource reporters Paige Watkins and Taylor Harris bring you the latest in the local entertainment scene.
Good evening, I'm Paige Watkins.
And I'm Taylor Harris, bringing you your local entertainment.
Today's topics include a few celebrity cast members making their way to Athens, upcoming shows, and a Fun for All event. If you know what the slogan Vote for Pedro is, this next one you're probably going to want to check out.
That's right, fan favorite characters Napoleon Dynamite and Pedro will be coming to the Classic Center for tater tots and throwbacks on February 20th. The event will feature the full screening of the movie and a discussion with John Heder and Efren Ramirez. An exclusive pre-sale for the event starts today, and then tickets will go on sale to the public this Friday. If you want more information on the event, you can visit the Classic Center's website at classiccenter.com.
Georgia Theater will have country music singer and songwriter Randy Houser taking the stage tonight, with the doors opening at 7:30 p.m. and the show starting at 8:30 p.m. Another local music venue to check out is the Foundry, where the Red Clay Strays, a country rock band from Mobile, Alabama, will be performing at 7:30 p.m. tonight. If you can't make it tonight, no worries, the music doesn't stop here. Both of these venues will be hosting performances tomorrow night.
If you're looking for something to do aside from the music scene, the Athens Fair is in town today through this Sunday, November 17th. Today only you can get free admission plus 40% off the all-access rider wristbands all day for Kids Day. Paige, what's your favorite part about the fair?
I'm going to have to say I always look forward to the Ferris wheel as well as the candy apples. What about you?
I like the rides, but I definitely look forward to the food the most. We're going to have to check it out. That's all for today's entertainment. I'm Taylor Harris.
And I'm Paige Watkins. If you want more information on what's happening in Northeast Georgia, check out our website, GradyNewsource.com.
An Athens local filmmaker, James Preston, set out across town to capture the creativity of the classic city with his camera.
James Preston didn't begin in the movie-making business. He originally started a company filming live performances. Fast forward about 7 years, and James wanted to make a documentary series about Athens.
We have a problem with being stuck in a Athens in the 70s or 80s mindset where all we want to talk about is REM or the B-52s. But we have a ton of incredible artists who are making a living here.
The owner of Avid Bookshop, Janet Geddes, was featured in James' second film, and she mentions that she appreciates the work that James has done.
I really have for a long time wished that there would be someone doing a project like what James is doing to highlight how much the city has changed and how we've grown.
Athens Rising 2, James' second documentary film, features key businesses and people in the community who work to make a difference. Nucci Space, a business that provides affordable health resources, is one of the organizations included. Leslie Cobbs, the counseling advocate at Nucci Space, says she likes how James' films bring light to the organizations and businesses that help out in Athens.
Like all these organizations do wonderful things for the community, and it needs to be shared.
James said he also hopes the films motivate people.
My goal was if you were sitting going, man, I'm thinking about doing something, to just give you a little nudge.
Janet Geddes noticed a positive change in her customers since the bookstore's involvement in Athens Rising 2.
And I've heard a couple people come in saying, you know, I hadn't been to Avid in a few years, and then seeing that film and seeing all that you do, I'm making a point of coming back in.
Moving forward, James hopes to make 4 films total about Athens.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Taylor Harris with Grady Newsource Sports, and today we'll be recapping Georgia's win against the Citadel, UGA golf in the RSM Classic, and 2 football players that are up for awards. Stay tuned.
Thank you. Did you see anyone's problems? Thanks for helping us. You're welcome.
We do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Okay.
And now, sports.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Taylor Harris here with your Grady Newsource Sports. Georgia golf team member Davis Thompson has received a sponsor's exemption to participate in the upcoming RSM Classic. The PGA Tour tournament is held every fall in St. Simon's Island at the Sea Island Golf Club, with this year's event taking place from November 21st to November 24th. Thompson's opportunity to receive the exemption came after his competitor, who defeated him in the Jones Cup Invitational, Akshay Bhatia, turned pro. After Bhatia gave up his amateur status, Thompson was extended the offer as the runner-up. Thompson will be joined by 9 other former Bulldogs who are currently on tour. Georgia's men's basketball defeated the Citadel 95-86 last night for their first meetup since 1962. The last time the two teams faced each other was in Charleston, South Carolina, where Georgia came out on top with an 89-72 win. Last night, the Dogs scored 28 points off of turnovers, beating their 2018-19 season high of 24 points. 6 of the Dogs had double-digit scoring performances, including freshman Anthony Edwards, who led with 29 points. The Bulldogs are now 2-0 and will be back in action on November 15th when they face Delaware State here in Athens at 7 p.m. 2 of Georgia's players have recently been named as semifinalists for 2 college football awards. Quarterback Jake Fromm is one of the 20 semifinalists for the 3rd annual Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year. The award is given to a college football player who has a record of leadership by exhibiting exceptional courage, integrity, and sportsmanship on and off the field. Fromm is one of 4 SEC players chosen. 3 finalists will be named on December 16th, and the winner will be announced at a ceremony on February 18th. The other UGA player nominated as a semifinalist is graduate place kicker Rodrigo Blankenship. Blankenship has been named as one of the 10 semifinalists for the Burlsworth Trophy, which is given to the most outstanding football player in America that began their career as a walk-on. Of the 10 semifinalists, he is the only player from the SEC. The top 3 finalists will be announced on November 19th, and the winner will be announced on December 9th. That's all for today's sports. I'm Taylor Harris, Grady Newsource.
I'm Katie Anderson, and coming up, I'll bring you your 5-day forecast and what temperatures to expect in Auburn this weekend.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
the weather.
I'm Katie Anderson, and this is your Grady Newsource weather. It's officially sweater weather, so let's look at the upcoming forecast, a game day forecast in Auburn, and some cold weather tips. Today there's a high of 47, and it's going to be mostly sunny throughout the day. You can expect to see some pretty powerful winds, ranging from 5 to 10 throughout the day, with gusts going up to 15 miles per hour. Tonight we're going to cool down and have a low of 29, so be partly cloudy, and you can expect the wind to calm down and be about 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow there's a high of 44, it's going to be cloudy, and there's a chance of rain about 40% about after 2 o'clock, and towards the night it's going to pick up and be about 70% chance of rain. So let's look at our 5-day forecast. So for Friday, we can expect to see those chances of rain still coming in, a high of 53 and a low of 40. On Saturday, it's going to be chances of rain throughout the morning, but it should be partly cloudy throughout the rest of the day, with a high of 55 and a low of 33. And on Sunday, we can expect partly cloudy skies with a high of 56 and a low of 36. If you're making it to Auburn for the game, you can expect to see sunny skies with a high of 60 and a low of 37, so you might want to bring that jacket just in case. Now, because we are expecting freezing temperatures throughout the night, the National Weather Service has issued these cold weather tips. Always check the forecast before you leave your house. You never want to be unprepared for weather. Adjust your schedule to avoid being in cold weather as much as possible. Protect your pets by keeping them inside whenever possible and giving them food and water. Avoid frozen pipes by dripping water overnight and keeping your heat on. Fill your tank. You never want to be stranded somewhere without having access to heat. Dress warmly even if you don't anticipate being outside. And have a winter car kit so that you can have food, water, blankets in case you do end up getting stranded. I'm Katie Anderson, and this has been your Grady Newsource weather. Stay warm.
After the break, I'll be telling you about how West Jackson Middle School has a new program that's giving students specialized learning time.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
What would you do with 40 extra minutes in your workday? I know me personally, I would love to just take a nap and get some extra things done. I paid a visit to West Jackson Middle School today to learn more about a new program that's giving students specialized learning time.
It's really exciting to see a school that has this built into their schedule, because in other schools that don't have that, it's like, where do you find the time for an intervention?
Kids at West Jackson Middle School are using 40 extra minutes of class time every other school day to grow their minds through a program called Extended Learning Time, or ELT. The U.S. Department of Education says ELT is supposed to go beyond the state-mandated learning requirements by extending the school day, month, or year. Doctoral candidate and student psychology researcher Kaylee O'Donnell says she wants to see the ELT program break trends in student learning.
Most students' engagement decreases throughout the year. Like, that's a very typical thing. But what we're going to hope for is it doesn't decrease as much.
West Jackson Middle chose to opt into this program, and according to Principal Melissa Conway, it's about more than just typical learning for her students.
It really, the cultural aspect of it, and the ability to have kids doing goofy things with adults that they may not even know, like that makes kids more engaged in school and they want to be here.
West Jackson Middle has programs ranging from math assistance to coin collecting during the extended learning time. The school has even dedicated resources for students who need counseling service during this time. 8th grade teacher and positive intervention coach Lara Komenecki says that she believes fun is an important part of learning.
But the goal is that if our kids are more engaged and they're happier to be here and they're doing something fun, they'll do better across the board.
Some students say they're already reaping the benefits of this new program. 8th grade student Chandler Blake says she is seeing improvement in her English and language arts class because of her extended learning time.
I saw way better ELA scores. Like, my ELA grade has gone up by so many points because of my reading in ELA ELT.
West Jackson Middle School will have official data on how the ELT program is impacting its students this December. Maps and cool gadgets took over UGA's main library today for International Geography Information Systems Day, or GIS Day for short. A group of 12 students, mainly from UGA's geography department, brought together private companies and government organizations, as well as UGA departments, to highlight the use of geographic information systems in our everyday lives. But what is GIS? GIS is a computer system that captures, stores, and displays data in order to better understand spatial patterns. For example, systems such as this augmented reality sandbox that was present is used by GIS researchers to study landscape and how elements like increased precipitation and erosion could further affect it. But GIS does not only study landscape. Some companies and entities at UGA's GIS Day specialized in areas from city planning to policy decisions and even study of vegetation. This was the 4th year that this event was held at UGA Geography. Students plan to continue to host this event for years to come. And thanks for tuning in. As you know, the news does not stop here. Make sure to visit our website at GradyNewsource.com. I'm Peyton Lewis. Have a good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And Alex directed. I would say that today was like a little chaotic, but I think that we like sort of pulled it together towards the end of the show. I know that at the beginning there were a few mispunches and miscommunications, but I think by the end of the show, like we really got it together. I will say, I would say that there was just like sort of miscommunication issues on both sides. There was definitely some mispunches on our part, but at the same time, I think there was a lot of chaos before the show started, just like in the last 10 minutes there, because anchors were down in the studio really late, and just with slots being dropped and changed, like literally as the show was going on, like at 4:59, I think there was a lot of confusion and just not enough time to update the prompter and update the videos that were in the TriCaster. I think that sort of contributed to some of the confusion that went on at the beginning of the show. But yeah, I will have Alex talk.
Yeah, basically what you said. Yeah, it was, yeah, the anchor, or the two reporters, I think were a little bit late getting into the studio, and when that happens, everything kind of on our sides goes back a little bit. I think, good with Julia checking the IFBs, and I don't know, the Senate package between Bailey. I think there was like to update the prompter, we can't do it in the middle of the show, and that like communication between.
We're talking about Senate. Yes, that was a mispunch on our part. Playing.
Nice enough to cut my slots for me, because I had to be done in the studio. So I think there was a miscommunication there because there was like an extra part of a soundbite. I think someone heard me say that and took that as that needs to be like deleted altogether. Is what I'm getting from all of this. I don't know like what happened on y'all's end.
Yeah, I think there was just some chaos because it was just like 2 minutes before the show was about to start, and they were like, delete one of these slots, and so we did. But then we realized.
I thought.
No,
No.
One of
I thought that you
were
guys.
saying there's 3 slots, delete one of the slots, and so
Who
we
told
realized
you
2
that,
slots.
Rachel? Who told you that, Rachel? Let's.
You told me to make sure that
You and Paige told me to delete the second Senate slot.
Why did that happen at the last moment? Why did that happen at the last
There
moment?
was 3 slots, and then the third slot repeated, and so I went down to the studio and told Bailey that it repeats. Do you want me to delete like the first time so he doesn't repeat himself? And so I went and did that, and then I changed it, and then I came up to like tell everyone that this is the new order, these are the right ones, and then someone told me, I don't remember who, that the slot was deleted fully, but it was me and Bailey were talking about.
It was a me and Paige issue, not anyone else. I think somebody else heard that and took it to mean something else completely.
I know Paige came in and said that, right, you said it was
Because I went down to Bailey, but I guess since I was talking to her, it like her voice went up to y'all,
So
maybe.
Yeah.
That was the last time you came down there.
Yeah, maybe you thought I was talking to you.
I didn't tell them to delete that. You
Okay.
came in and was like,
When do we decide? Obviously, there has to be a cutoff time when things can be corrected. You two had SOTs picked out way in advance. How is it possible that you had the exact SOTs selected way in advance? Why was this all a last-minute edit? What happened? Why wasn't it ready when you had? I even commended you for being so organized, and we looked at the scripts. I think it was an hour earlier. And how was it possible that you had everything so well organized and to have this chaos at the top of the show? I don't understand it.
We were good on the impeachment slots. It was at the last. We were good on the impeachment
Yeah.
slots. It was at the last minute. The Senate Dems one page was helping us out because we were trying to make the final. We were having trouble with the way it was like in the prompter for us. So Paige was helping us out to edit that at the same time.
But why was that in the last moment when
Because
you guys
at
were
the prompter
so
it was
well
in,
organized?
our names were incorrectly, and we didn't know who was supposed to go in, and that's what
Why
Brittany
were
and I
your
were
names
working on.
incorrect in the prompter?
It just was. We put them in, and they just weren't popping up.
So we
So
had to go
it was
through
not. It was not anything on our end.
And it did that when Isaiah and I did our school segment. It just said Wellesley the whole time.
Yeah,
So
I
something
think
that
there was an
can't
issue.
But you guys know who's doing what, so that shouldn't have messed you up. Plus, you guys were both looking, when you were reading, we could tell you were reading your questions. You weren't looking at each other. I guess you got nervous because of everything that happened. But take a look at it and try to reconstruct what went
We
wrong,
watched it back
because
already.
we don't want this to happen again when you guys were you worked so hard, you were so well organized, well in advance. And to have this happen is just a shame. We need to figure it out so if you watched it by your reconstruction, your best guess, what went wrong and how can we move forward?
I couldn't tell you everything.
How can we fix this?
from my
How
end,
is
so
it
at least for
possible?
impeachment was fine.
I think for the Senate Dems, I'm gonna take the blame for all the SOTs because they should have never been dropped as the show was going. And the miscommunication, it just all comes down to not having it early. So
How was it?
Yeah,
That's
the
my
SOTs
question.
should've been checked,
That is why my question is, how is it
15
possible?
minutes before the show, and then we realized the SOTs were all messed up.
because I started editing the SOTs, I don't know, Bailey, what time did you give me this? I
It
didn't
was-
have too long, but still,
It was-
they needed to be done in time, and it just comes down to not having.
It was probably around 4 when we were done getting everything approved. Me and Marissa wanted to go through and practice everything and make sure that it was with our names in the prompter correctly and all that stuff. So Paige asked me if she could help with anything, and I said, actually, yes, it would be helpful if you could cut my SOTs so that I can go down to the studio at 4:30 and not mess anything up.
And why were you guys late?
I told them at 4:30 to go down
I
there,
was-
but they needed to fix the SOTs,
Bailey
so
was
they
down there.
stayed
She
up
was
late.
di-
Yeah,
I was
you were
working
down
with
there
Grady to make
early.
sure that the prompter was correct, because we were still missing a couple cues in the Senate Dems as well. At the very top of it, which is what we were up for adding.
What is the cutoff time and when do you need everyone on set?
Anchors should be down in the studio by 4:30, and so Peyton was down there at 4:30, so we were able to set up her shot, but obviously with the 3-shot and the 2-shot, it still takes a lot of time, so we really needed all 3 of them down there at 4:30.
And you needed probably to practice. This was a very complex thing
Mhm.
with so many moving parts.
I think really what it comes down to was just, we definitely made a lot of missed punches, so we will take the blame for that, but obviously there was just a lot of chaos.
This is not about blame. We are learning.
Yeah.
It's about learning and doing it better.
Mhm.
We so appreciate everything you do. You're volunteers. We're so grateful we have you. What we're looking at here is not to find who is guilty or who did something wrong. It's for us to move forward and learn. That's why we're doing this, to make mistakes and move forward. The thing that really concerns me about this specific mistake is that we were not able to give both sides of the story. We gave 2 sound bites which presented the Democratic point of view.
We did get the Republican one, just, yeah.
Where?
It played at the beginning.
But it didn't play where you tossed to it, where it made sense. That's my concern.
Yes.
So when we have politically sensitive issues like that, we need to be very prepared and careful to make sure that that things are well organized, that things are practiced, that they probably practice with you guys because you're there ahead of time. So I'm thinking that that could be a solution, to be able to go through everything and make sure.
We were in the control room when Marissa dropped those in there. We went in there, asked if they played.
The Senate Dims was more on our side.
Yes.
The impeachment was more just y'all missed the one punch and that was fine.
Yeah.
It was more.
And
like
then so it was
50-50.
like
Yeah.
shifted
Yeah.
on like SAW 1 and SAW 2.
Yeah.
So moving forward, next time when we do something like this, we need everybody to be 4:30, go through things, make sure that everybody is on the same page. We do not make changes unless we absolutely have to make changes in the last moment like this. I don't think this was justified after we were ready at least an hour ahead. They were very well organized, and this shouldn't have happened, but it happened, and I guess we just have to try harder to stick to our times, go through things together with you guys. I think that will help a lot.
It's okay. No.
Yeah.
It was just a little bit of a chaotic day. I understand.
Okay, yeah, because that, I look at it again at home and, you know, look for myself to see. But it shouldn't have happened after so much hard work from everyone, and we finished on time. But let's not. We can talk a little bit more once I've looked at it again. And Julia, I would love for you to also look at it, and Leslie also. Just you guys take a look at it and see from your point of view, especially you as a producer, what could we do differently? What could we have done differently to avoid that? We'll talk about that more on Monday.
Yeah,
As you pass on the baton to another producer, maybe you can help them with.
Yeah, I think what made it tricky today too was on Monday. It was not live, so it's like y'all already recorded it, and it was like much more smoother. And like today, I know you wanted it live.
Yes,
but
we had to
making
go
it
live.
Yeah,
We cannot
making it
go on a
live
day
made it
like this.
trickier.
Yeah, and we need to handle live. I
yeah,
mean, we can't
yeah.
just, you know, we can't just do canned stuff. No pun intended, but it's.
Yeah.
We have to do live.
Yeah, but I was just saying, I think that's why on Monday like went a little smoother.
Yes, but we
Yeah.
have to figure out when we do live what goes wrong and how we can work together to make things flow smoothly.
Yeah.
Because we can do it. We just have to figure out a good way to work, to collaborate and get it done. Because I know we can do it, but we have to get it right. We're learning. So it's, you know, I'm not looking at who's at fault. No, I just want ideas as to how we move forward, because we need to do live well. That's what we're trying to learn.
Yeah.
So anything else, you guys? From your
Lastly, I
point
just
of
wanted to say thank you to Julia for just like, I don't know, being so on top of things today, like really coming in and double checking everything and communicating with us. So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very, very much. So, Julia, do you want to share a little bit more the things that went wrong, the things that went right? What do we carry as a good thing for next week?
Yeah, I really liked Peyton's package. I thought that was really cute with the kids and everything. And Isaiah, I thought I had known, like, your video was so good with the, I would have put it in the pre-tease, because, like, the video was so cool with the little interactive stuff. So, like, that was really cool. We were talking about how that would have been cool in the pre-tease. And your your VO thing was really good. So, yeah.
And we were talking, Isaiah and all reporters, when you have something cool like this video, talk to the producer and we can put it in the show open. We've talked about anything that you have cool, let's open the show with it. I mean, that's such, I mean, I want to watch, when I see that video, I want to watch some more, and I really want to watch the show because that is just so cool. So anytime you see something that grabs you as a viewer, come talk to the producer, show it to her, and see if she could put it in the pre-show tease, or a soundbite, or a stand-up you did, like you did that awesome stand-up. Remember once when I suggested we put it on social? Well, we didn't. The stand-up where you had someone explaining how to do first aid. It was so cool, and but we didn't end up putting it on social, but things like that, be ambassadors for what the cool stuff you have, and let's use it. Let's make the most of it. So just bear that in mind.
And thank you for being willing to do the live shot. And then also thank you, Katie, for doing weather, since we did not have a weather anchor today. So even though you were supposed to do digital, thank you for being willing to do weather. And I liked the entertainment segment. It was good. Thank y'all for also, I think it worked with how y'all teamed up, and even with a flat tire, y'all were still able to do the entertainment segment and sports. So thank y'all a lot for that. Just one more thing I wanted to add, that I think would, just in the producer's perspective, I know Bailey, with the live thing, it was hard to know exactly the time, but as a producer, when I'm trying to set up the show, and the timing was off, and maybe that was because of the shot was messed up, and we had to skip over it, but I had to switch things around a little bit, so it would have just been easier if I had been able to time the show.
The shot was wide, just to
Yeah.
clear that up. Everything was timed out correctly. All of the times that you gave us, we stuck to.
Okay, yeah, just maybe for...
Because one shot was played twice.
Yeah.
And it was a long
And then the John
Yeah.
Ossoff one was on screen for 10 seconds with nothing happening too.
Yeah.
There was a whole...
It was a lot of the shots going on.
Okay.
I promise.
Yeah.
I stuck to what you gave me.
Okay, yeah. All right, just wanted to throw it out there. But other than that, that's all I have to say. So.
Isaiah, how was that, besides freezing live shot, how can you share with us, how did that go? I really liked the shot and where you were. It was very interesting. From your point of view, what did you like about what you did, and were there any challenges you want to share with us?
Yeah, so of course the challenge was really cold, but other than that, it was my first time going live, recording live. So
without tossing to a package, or something.
Without talking to a package. And when I guess it came a lot faster than I thought it was gonna come. So when he gave me the signal, I was like, "Whoa!" And my mind went blank. And you can see that.
a little shaky, but you recovered.
But then, I was happy that I recovered. So at first, my mind kept going blank, and I was like, "Okay, come on, where am I?" So, I ended up getting it together after 5 seconds or whatever, and then throughout the rest, I was pretty comfortable.
What shook you up in the beginning?
I think just my first time just being live, or just being doing that. I've never done that, so
I'm so glad we gave you a chance to do it, because it's each and every one of you has to have that experience, and that's why I pushed for lives. I know Julia at one point really hated me today because it's I was messing up her show. She had timed it with all tape stuff, and there I come and I say we have to do a live, and then she made a great choice, because you had 2 options to go live, and I like the choice she made, which was harder on you because it wasn't your story.
Yeah.
But I think this was a more meaningful and more impactful story for you to go live with. So that was a good choice on her part. And then she nearly killed me when I said, you know what, we need to do impeachment. We cannot have a taped political segment on a day like this.
Yeah.
And she was not very happy, but of course she was flexible, and she went for this. And it wasn't easy, but what did you learn? I wanted you to be exposed. I didn't want you to have a producer week without ever having done live, because it's better for you to be rattled here with me and us instead of being in the real world.
Yeah.
And now you know, and now you have more confidence, I hope, in the real world, that you can handle things. So share a little bit more about this rattling experience because of your mean professor.
It was a little tricky knowing where to put the live shot in the show, and then also I should have told you to tell Isaiah sooner, at least a couple seconds sooner.
I wish I had counted you down, because I feel like I didn't give you enough time to really think think about things.
I think it's because I was cueing the VO and your pack. No, there's something going on where I meant to cue you earlier, and then we were like, "Oh, go!"
So you were not cued.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So sorry about that. Should have cued you earlier.
Good, but you're ready for real life now. Nothing can scare you.
Yeah,
right?
I think from now, like
Yeah.
with the situation, like that was a story that I didn't know as much about like prior, but I learned up on it. And
Yes,
I feel like
yes.
if I can do that, I can do something.
Yeah, no, I think you did good, and like, thank you for being willing again to like do that on the fly when it's like not your story or anything. So, yeah, I've learned that going live is tricky with timing the show and everything. But I guess just for future producers, being prepared and knowing exactly how the live shot is going to go will be helpful.
And so the content editor needs to make sure that they count down. And I'm so glad, I know I shook you guys up, but I'm so glad we did 2 different lives, one from the studio and one from outside, because it gave you a different experience.
Yeah.
And it shook you up in different ways.
Yeah.
So I think it was important. We cannot just do everything recorded, pre-recorded, because you're not learning anything. And I mean, you are learning when you record things, but you know, you will be doing probably live things, and that's important experience, I think, for you to have. And what about you, Wellesley? What do you want to share with us from your experience?
So I know that there were some technical difficulties today, but content-wise, I'm very happy with how things turned out today. Everybody came really prepared, as always. People pulled double the weight today. So, yeah, I'm happy, and I think you guys did a really great job today.
And one of your many roles, Marissa.
Okay, on the digital
Let
side.
me remember. Now
My
you are
one-
digital.
Yeah. As a digital producer, my one digital person pulled through again, so we loved that.
And
Got a
did weather.
And she did weather. We got a cool Twitter thread out there. Working on the article. We're gonna have that out. And we also did. I wanted to do more on Instagram than I ended up getting to do, just being crunched for time. But I did get a little bit out on our Instagram story, like poll-wise. I wanted like a whole sort of story, but that didn't happen. But that's okay. Just keep that in mind for next time. But digitally, we did well. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Katie, do you want to share something from your double duty?
Share something? Well, I just want to thank everybody on the production team for helping me out. I was a little nervous going into weather, but it actually worked out really well. Definitely doing my interview last night saved me today, because I don't know how I would have written an article and done weather had I not been prepared for that. But I just want to thank Marissa, because she's been awesome. As you know, I guess it's easy when you're the only digital person.
Is this the
to get
first time
attention.
you've done weather?
Yeah.
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 Because I could tell you weren't your usual confident self. You
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
look, you know, you kept waiting. You know, the tips also, you kept waiting for the prompter to, and you didn't kind
I
of.
didn't have a prompter.
Oh, you didn't? You
no, I think the
looked like you were
timing-
reading, or you were waiting for the script.
Yeah, no, so we had a
And
lot
you
of...
never looked, and you never pointed anything. You never interacted with.
Oh, yeah.
Like I know you can do.
Right.
You weren't your usual style. I could tell you were
there
not
was a lot
comfortable.
of issues with the way I had mapped it out for timing, which I guess next time I do weather, that'll be easier.
Will you get another time to do?
I do,
weather?
yeah.
Good,
I have it
'cause I want you to.
the last one.
Yeah. To just
but
do
it's
weather
just-
and focus on it and
Yes.
learn. Yeah.
It was really hard for me, I guess, with timing, which I guess I'll learn. But I noticed myself, like, watching it back, I looked to the side because the way that they do timing really freaks me out, because they'll be going like this to tell you that you have to wrap it up, and I, like, just look at things that are moving. I think it's my ADHD, but I saw him, like, going like this, and I go, and then I wrap it, and so that was, I watched it back, and I was like, oh, God. But I guess I didn't even think about looking at the screen when I was doing it, because I was so focused on making sure I was, like, saying all the things I needed to say.
Look at it again, and you yourself will consider.
Yeah.
You know, look at other people doing weather before, you know, you do your own weather, to see what they do and how they interact with the screen. And now that you were in this strange situation, it was a good dress rehearsal for you to really, you know, do it well.
Yeah,
Be yourself, actually. You did it well, but you weren't yourself.
Yeah. Well, it worked
Yeah.
out well because I only get to do weather one day, so I guess this was just my. Because everyone says it's easier the second day, so.
Good. So
I
now
get to do
you're.
it on a different day.
But thank you for all the hard work and,
Yes, thank you for doing
coming
that.
prepared and doing double duty and yeah, all of you. Paige, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be hard on you for helping out. That's what, you know, no good deed goes unpunished, right? The fact that you asked to help with the sound bites, thank you for doing that. And I think that people who do their stuff should be in control and hold that control as much as they can. And when you delegate on time, be very clear, and delegate as a last resort. But thank you for a wonderful, both of you, for a wonderful segment. We loved it all. I just was wondering again, why is it that at certain times you, during the close-ups and wide shots, your mic didn't sound as good as Taylor's? Was it something wrong with the mic, or I don't know. When you listened to it, did you notice that at certain times your mic was like softer and lower?
We had a problem with the mic, so going forward, we went to get like an adapter so that we can sync them to the same.
Yeah, because they were out of sync. Yeah.
I think it's problems with the different frequencies, like because we have we have like 2 separate audio tracks. Because we'll plug the audio for mine into my camera and record just audio, and then record the visuals on her camera and her audio on her camera. So
You can only have one per camera, so I had to get like an adapter where you can have two.
Yeah.
One that's split.
This is just nitpicking. It was a beautiful segment, very well done, despite flat tires, freezing temperatures, concerns, and everything. Very well done, and thank you for stepping in to help. Peyton, I needn't say it again, excellent performance, very well done. Loved how you'd written your final lead to your package with the question, with the answer. It was very personable, it was very engaging, very well done. In the beginning with the shaky situation, were you getting enough information as to what was going on at the top of the show? And how was that for you?
I mean,
any suggestions, anything you liked, anything we could do different?
Let's see, some things I wasn't I wasn't communicated to that the Marquez Mays story was killed.
Which story, darling? Which one?
The VO that I wrote for the E-block. I wasn't sure. I still had it.
Yeah.
Like it was printed for me, but I
Yeah.
wasn't aware that they killed it. So I wish that would have been communicated. I also feel like, and I did. Let's see. I liked this GIS Day story, but the wording, and I apologize for that. I was stumbling so hard, and I had been over it maybe 2 or 3 times already with the people down there.
Especially the tag was something
and
that really tripped you up.
Yeah, and I just didn't. I struggled with that, so I just feel like anchoring in the future, everybody writes their own readers. That should just be the rule. So you understand and read it and know how you're going to say it with your voice too. Because the way that Isaiah writes, you write for your voice, right? But it's not necessarily the way I would write for my own voice. So I feel like we should kind of stick to that. And I mean, that was really all that I noticed from today.
I think for the Marcus May thing, we cut it because your package was a little longer.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
But you need to communicate. Remember we
yeah,
talked.
we had skipped it.
The anchors.
And then we printed it out and then we skipped it again.
Okay.
But
So
you didn't tell her that you skipped it.
Yeah, I thought it was in the script skipped, wasn't it?
It was not. So like they said earlier, If you skip
have
something
it.
after the show has already started, then it doesn't show up in the prompter.
Yeah.
So the story was still in prompter.
Yeah,
It wasn't skipped.
any changes need to be communicated to the
Okay,
anchor,
I
no
wasn't-
matter what.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that she didn't know just because on my script it was like skipped out.
It doesn't matter if it's skipped out on your script. She
Yeah.
needs to know any changes that happen during the show.
Okay.
Another thing at the very top of the show, the greeting.
Yeah.
We had to sort of make
Yeah.
that up on the spot, which I don't know if that was a